Okay, do me a favor. Look at your hand. Now, just flex your fingers. Simple, right? But think about the incredible biological machine that just made that happen. We're these unbelievably complex creatures, but what if I told you that everything your body is and everything it does is built from just 4 basic types of material?
No, seriously. That's it. Just 4. Every single thing your body does, from thinking a thought to lifting a finger to even just listening to me right now, it's all powered by just these 4 fundamental types of tissue. It's such an elegant system, and today we're going to break it all down.
So think of this as a tour of you. We're going to start with the body's protective lining. Then we'll check out the engine of movement. After that, we'll see what holds it all together, the body's glue. And finally, we'll meet the command center that runs the whole show. Sound good? Okay, let's dive in with our first layer.
All right, first up, we've got the body's lining. The scientific name for it is epithelial tissue. And really, you can just think of this stuff as the protective shell. It's the packing material for pretty much everything inside you.
I mean, it's kind of like the ultimate gatekeeper. It lines every single surface, from the outside of your skin to the deep, dark insides of your stomach. Its whole job is to create these specialized compartments. You know, to make sure your stomach acid actually stays in your stomach and doesn't decide to take a trip to your lungs. In fact, the person you see in the mirror, they're mostly just a walking, talking sheet of epithelial tissue.
And what's cool is how we classify this tissue. It's beautifully simple. It all just comes down to 2 questions. What's its shape and how many layers does it have? That's it. The shapes are either flat, kind of like a scale, they call it squamous, which comes from the Latin word for a fish scale, which is pretty neat, or they're cube-shaped or column-shaped. And the layers, well, it's either a simple layer, or you've got multiple layers which we call stratified. And listen, this isn't just some random biology trivia. This structure is everything. Think about it. Your lungs, right? They need to exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide super fast. So what do they have? A single, ultra-thin layer of those flat cells. It's the perfect design for quick transport. But your skin? Oh, your skin is constantly getting scraped, bumped, and worn down. It needs a tough, multi-layered shield to protect you. It's a perfect example of form-following function.
And believe me, you really need those tough layers. Why? Get this, you shed about 600,000 particles of skin every single hour. Yeah, a delicate single layer wouldn't stand a chance, right? That stratified multi-layer design is absolutely essential for our survival.
Okay, moving on to our second type. This is the engine that moves us, muscular tissue. From the tiniest little twitch of an eyelid to a powerful, explosive leap, every single movement you make is powered by this remarkable stuff.
So where does the magic of muscle come from? Well, it all comes down to these special proteins called contractile proteins. You might have heard of them, actin and myosin. And you won't find this kind of machinery anywhere else in the body. They form these fibers that literally slide past each other, and that's what causes the muscle to contract and then relax. That simple sliding motion, that's the basis for every single movement you can make.
And speaking of movements, here's a fun fact for you. A smile, it's actually a pretty efficient expression. It only takes about 17 muscles. But a frown? A frown requires a whopping 43 muscles. So hey, unless you're actively trying to give your face a workout, being happy is literally the easier option.
But here's the thing, muscle isn't just one thing. There are actually 3 different types. You've got skeletal muscle, that's the stuff you control consciously, for walking and lifting things. Then you have smooth and cardiac muscle. They're the ones working behind the scenes, totally involuntarily, digesting your food and pumping your blood. And they even look different under a microscope. Skeletal and cardiac muscle are what we call striated, which just means they have this striped look. That's from their super organized protein fibers, and it's what allows for those really powerful coordinated contractions.
All right, time for a pop quiz. In proportion to its size, what do you think is the absolute strongest muscle in the human body? It's not your bicep, it's not your quad, give up, it's your tongue. And it makes sense when you think about it, right? I mean, every time you eat, swallow, or talk, your tongue is getting a constant, massive workout.
Okay, on to our third building block, connective tissue. And this is where things get really interesting. You can think of it as the body's glue, for sure, but it's also the framework, it's the padding, and it's even the delivery service. It is by far the most diverse of all 4 tissue types.
And when I say diverse, I mean really diverse. Would you ever think that liquid blood and solid bone have much in common? Probably not. But guess what? They both fall under the big umbrella of connective tissue. And it doesn't stop there. Same goes for cartilage, fat, and all the ligaments and tendons that literally hold you together.
So let's just take a closer look at blood for a second. It's actually mostly this colorless fluid called plasma. And floating around in that plasma, you've got your red blood cells carrying oxygen, your white blood cells, which are your personal defense system, and platelets, the little guys that help you clot when you get a cut. And that iconic red color we all know, well, that actually comes from a substance called hemoglobin, which is packed inside those red blood cells.
Okay, so what about bone, that other major connective tissue? Here's another amazing little fact for you. You were actually born with around 300 bones. But as an adult, you only have 206. What happened to the rest? Well, as you grow, some of your bones literally fuse together. How cool is that?
All right, let's clear up something that confuses a lot of people. Ligaments versus tendons. It's actually really simple. Just remember this. Ligaments link bone to bone. They hold your skeleton together. Tendons connect muscle to bone. They're what let you move that skeleton. So, bone to bone, muscle to bone. That's the key. If you remember that, you've got it.
And that brings us to our final tissue. Number 4. This is the big one, the command center of the entire operation, nervous tissue. This is the incredible network that sends and receives signals, makes all the decisions, and tells the rest of your body exactly what to do.
So the main player in nervous tissue is the neuron. And honestly, the easiest way to understand how a neuron works is to just picture a tree. The branches of the tree, those are called dendrites, and their job is to receive incoming signals. The long trunk is called the axon. It transmits that signal over a distance. And then you have the roots. Those are the axon terminals, and they pass the signal on to the next neuron in the chain. Simple, right?
But here's a secret. Neurons, as famous as they are, do not work alone, not even close. They have this massive support crew called glial cells. You can think of it like this. If neurons are the rock stars of the nervous system, glial cells are the essential, unsung heroes. They're the roadies, the managers, the security. They support the neurons, supply them with nutrients and oxygen, and protect them from any harm.
And I'm not exaggerating about their importance. Get this, you actually have anywhere from 10 to 50 times more glial cells in your body than neurons. Let that sink in. That's just how vital they are. Without their glial cell support crew, the neurons simply couldn't do their job. At all.
And this is where it all comes together. This is where our building blocks truly start to cooperate. A signal shoots out from a nerve cell, that's our command center, and it triggers a contraction in a muscle cell, that's our engine. This fundamental partnership between nervous and muscular tissue is what makes literally every animal movement possible. Everything from a heartbeat to forming a thought.
So let's end with this thought. These 4 simple building blocks, a liner, an engine, some glue, and a command center, that's it. That's the foundation for all animal life. So the question to leave you with is this. How in the world does this one elegant 4-part system manage to build everything from a tiny little insect all the way up to a massive blue whale? It's pretty amazing to think about. Thanks for joining me on this little tour of you.